Sorry about that. Truth be told, there is no way that Master Mask could have known about this pattern. This pink spotted pattern on this urn is actually nothing more than paint stains. And these stains did not appear until after the urn had been taken to Orderly Taylor. The day that the sacred urn was taken to the warehouse, the urn was broken due to human error, or should I say, an error-prone human. And that's when the pink paint got on the urn. And yet this calling card clearly mentions this paint pattern. Which means Detective Atme had seen this urn long before the crime ever took place. In fact, he saw it when this fake photo was taken. Enjoying your coffee there, Godot? And because this photo is a fake, your alibi for the night of the murder no longer holds water. Exactly, Ivy. Fickle, you say? Yes, I am. Yes, I'm aware of that. Despite our lack of hard information, this may be our only chance. That's what I don't get. Why the hell would the CEO actually write a blackmail letter to a former employee of his? That makes absolutely no sense. That actually is a good point, but here's what the problem is. Mr. Delight was actually the one who had the grudge against Mr. Bullard because of what actually happened when Mr. Delight was fired. Mr. Delight found out that Mr. Bullard was actually selling trade secrets to rival companies. That's a good point, Ivy. Question is that the entire story? Exactly. Mr. Bullard's mistake is quite excusable. The defendant truly believes he has masked a mask. That is why Mr. Delight saw it fit to kill King Bullard. Truly a tragedy. True. One of the blackmail letters, anyway. And there's one thing I forgot to show. If I can find it. This. Oh, indeed. But there's something that's actually missing from that list. And I think you know what it is. It is actually the Sacred Urn. Where is the Sacred Urn on that list? It's nowhere to be found. What? Now that's what makes no sense. So technically both of us are correct. Sure about that, Godot? And we're both involved in security. Yes, I know what it means, Mr. Atme. I would have loved to wipe that smug look off that guy's face. Jerk. Honest to God, if Mr. Atme was actually a real person, I would go right up to him, stare him right in the face, and spit right in his face. Actually, that wouldn't be a bad idea either. Why would the victim mistake the defendant for Master Mask? Especially that super long nose, which looks fake, by the way. Oh boy, here we go. And yes, the guy in that clipping in the security guard suit is actually Mr. Delight. A magnificent detective? I would say no. A criminal, though, yes. True. I mean, this blackmail letter right here, for $50,000. The handwriting is, without a doubt, the victim's. So what was found in Ronald Delight's apartment? And Mr. Delight did show up at the designated place and time. What if that blackmail letter wasn't meant for Mr. Delight? For some reason, I just can't shake the feeling that there's something not quite right about this blackmail letter. What do you mean by that? That is true, Ivy. Take a look at this, though. KB Security has a lot of security info on all sorts of companies. Since there was a security team chief, still data from the company. True, that would be a reason for his boss to actually fire him and hold a grudge, but Mr. Dwight himself being fired is also a motive to actually hold a grudge as well. So technically, both of them could have had grudges against each other. Exactly. That's actually what I'm thinking. I'm thinking it was a fake blackmail letter. But here's where it really gets interesting. Evidence that Mr. Bullard was receiving money through blackmail. Why did the defendant pay Mr. Bullard the money, even though he wasn't actually mask to mask? You really think that story's gonna hold up? Oh jeez, here we go. Honestly, God, whenever I hear that song, I think of Lotta Hart. That's usually her character theme. Convincing? Now that's just your imagination talking. Deduction? We'll see. I'm gonna try to connect Detective Atme to Mr. Bullard. Exactly. True. Was the blackmail letter really intended for Ron? Or was it intended for someone else? Strange. I don't buy it. Objection, Your Honor. Mind if I ask you a few questions, Detective Atme? When you said that this letter was addressed to Ronald Delight, I couldn't help but notice one major contradiction. Gladly. Something does not fit. Take a good look at this newspaper clipping. Contains a picture of the Tear of Emanon, the stolen jewel. The problem is this jewel's color. Now, there's one thing I forgot to mention. Godot actually wears a mask for a very good reason. He's colorblind. According to this clipping, the color of the stolen jewel was blue. However, actually no, he's not Cyclos. As for what happened to him, like I said, I'll get to that when I eventually get to the last case. However, in the blackmail letter, a totally different jewel is mentioned. I'll take that red diamond you received the other day. Which means the red diamond described in the blackmail letter is not the Tear of Emanon that Master Mask stole at all. Bingo. Yup. Oh, yes! I was waiting for this moment. Gotcha! Naturally, it was you, Detective Atme. You have been personally involved in every single Master Mask case. And in the last case, you recovered what was stolen. And received a jewel as your reward. Probably the one wrapped conspicuously around your finger. Now, I'm definitely not colorblind, but that definitely looks... It definitely looks red to me. That red diamond ring! That is the diamond referred to in the letter. Which means that Kane Bullard wrote that letter in order to blackmail you! Oh, you better believe it. Oh. I would say about 15. Now here's what's interesting. Take a look at that. If you don't want your identity revealed to the world, which means that Ronald Delight's boss actually knows what Godot's true identity really is. That is why Luke Atme was being blackmailed. And he also knows who Master Mask really is. Kane Bowler threatened to make Luke Atme's identity public knowledge. An identity he wanted to keep a secret. So just what was that identity? Atme knew killed Kane Bullard because he was afraid of his secret being known. What was this identity he wanted to keep secret? Gotcha. Luke Atme was also a blackmailer.
Objection!
Oh, you're not getting me with that, Godot. Indeed. It's not odd at all. It's the only thing that makes any sense. Kane Bullard was blackmailing Luke Atme. But Ronald Delight was also being blackmailed by a certain someone. So you just start receiving blackmail letters after this incident? Just a few days after the Tear of Emanon heist. Here you go. Receive plans from some very kind person. Incredibly detailed plans. In which case, that would mean that Ronda Light was actually Master Mask. That is what we are claiming. Someone else came up with the plans and had Mr. Delight steal his targets for him. That is true. That someone was none other than Luke Atme. What is? that is true. You certainly couldn't have blackmailed him otherwise. Bingo. Gotcha. I think I see it. When you were in grade school, you received the same report card every year. Gets to do lots of mischief, trying to be the center of attention. This newspaper clipping has a picture of you and Rondolite in his guard uniform. Seems that Master Mask just didn't disappear into thin air. He just took off his outfit and hid it in a bucket. Correct. With tricks like that, he couldn't fool a baby, let alone an ace detective. And that is when you figured it out, Mr. Atme. That's when you learned that under his mask, Master Mask was Ronald Delight. Bingo! Indeed, Ivy. Great detective work. I'm afraid you're neither a proud thief nor an ace detective. You're simply a blackmailer and a murderer. That is your true identity. Quite a performance, Mr. Atme. I congratulate you on being a complete slimeball jerk. That is called a breakdown, Ivy. Take a look on YouTube and you'll see some of the crazy breakdowns. Trust me, I've seen a lot more crazier ones than that. I believe so, yeah. No, Godot. What I will do, Ivy, is I'll give you a hint as to who Godot's to what Godot's true identity actually is. Well, 2 hints. 1, he actually knows Phoenix Wright and used to work with the late Mia Fey. And the other hint, both Mia and this man actually worked with Marvin Grossberg. Now, no looking things up. You have to try to figure it out by yourself. If you can't, then by the time we get to the last case, then I'll reveal who he actually is. No looking things up, though. He wasn't married to Mia, though the two of them were very close. No. That is incorrect, Ivy. However, if we hear more of Detective Atmey's testimony... True. No, I think not, Godot. Uh-uh. Uh-uh. Indeed. Double jeopardy. One of the basic rules of any court of law. Should a defendant be tried and found innocent in court, that defendant cannot be tried again for the same crime. That is a fundamental rule of all courts. And it applies to this witness as much as it applies to anyone else. Rest well, Ivy. True. Rest well. Objection, Your Honor! Done yet. Testimony's not over yet. Your Honor, just now you said something very interesting. You have cross-examined every statement the witness has made here today. Unfortunately, Your Honor, you're forgetting something. Earlier, after the last cross-examination, the witness made a number of remarks. Love wins out in the end, after all. And the ace detective, as well as Master Mask, my verdict will verify that. Just as Run the Lights will verify that he is the true murderer. Very well. And shall we prove their importance via cross-examination? As long as this witness has made these remarks, we, the defense, assert our right to question them. Is that alright with you, prosecutor? Let's hear it. It's true that the witness made some remarks. So then, let's hear this last bit of cross-examination. I'm going to allow the defense to cross-examine your earlier remarks. The defense would like to hear why you declared the defendant to be the true murderer. So please give us one last bit of testimony. I think not. The police investigation documents went directly through me. Oh, we'll see about that. Cup number 17, the last cup. I have to point it out without presenting evidence. about this last remark.
Objection!
No! Afraid you're the one who still doesn't get it, Mr. Godot. Seems you finally admitted that you were in the CEO's office on the night of the murder! Let's review your testimony, shall we, Mr. Atme? The button did not have any fingerprints on it. Why? Mr. Delight was wearing his Master Mask outfit. Is that correct? More like your deductions prove that you are a fool. When exactly did we learn the fact that Ronald Delight was dressed as Master Mask when he went to the scene of the crime? It's just a few hours ago. Bingo! That's right! The defendant had yet to tell anyone else this fact before this morning. Therefore, the only people who should know this are those who have been watching this trial. Do you understand now, Detective Atme? There is no way you should know about that! You're in the next courtroom being tried as Master Mask. So that enlighten us. Just how do you know about that piece of information? Objection, Your Honor! And it's those chances that I want to discuss next. That night, Mr. Delight was wearing his Master Mask outfit. There is one and only one way for Detective Atme to have found that out. Please recall, if you will, Mr. Delight's testimony. When I entered the office, there was a shadow, suspicious shadow there. For a second, my client witnessed the real killer. Objection, Your Honor. It's with that statement that I'll turn this case on its head. Mr. Delight saw the real killer, correct? Now, if you turn that statement around, it stands to reason that the real killer had also seen Mr. Ronald Delight. Detective Atme, you saw Master Mask at the murder scene that night. You saw him when you killed Kate Bullard and assaulted Ronald Delight. That was the only way you could have known what Ronald's wearing. I think there's a little more meaning behind it this time. King Boyd was blackmailing Luke Atme, who was in turn blackmailing Rhonda Light. And upon killing his blackmailer, Luke Atme tried to frame Ronald Delight. He then claimed to be guilty as Master Mask in order to escape his true crime. And to the end, he came up with this plan to use the double jeopardy rule when making his alibi. The Master is really innocent. It seems so, for now. Now then, this court finds the defendant not guilty. You mean about being the master of the Korean channeling school? Misty Faye, right? Of course. Yeah. Congratulations, Mr. Delight.